thank the members of the National Assembly and members of the Senate, because the scorecard which we celebrate today, the achievements of this administration for the last 3 years, could not have been possible without the unwavering, consistent, and faithful support from the two houses of Parliament. Every success we have registered, from healthcare to affordable housing, to all our programs in education and infrastructure, will not have succeeded if the enabling legislation was not passed by the National Assembly and the Senate of Kenya. And because we are the majority, our two parties form the majority of the members of the two houses, history will be very kind on these members, because as we assess the progress made in the transformation of our country, there will be a very, very prominent chapter on the role that the National Assembly and the Senate played to actualize the flagship projects of the broad-based administration. Your Excellency, I've been given 20 minutes to say very many things. I'll try to keep the time, and we have agreed with the leaders of the houses that after the 20th minute they can ring the bell. Your Excellency, the last 3 years have been phenomenal, because when you were sworn in, and iko kitabu, there is a booklet with the scorecard, so that you can help, you can be able to follow as we go through. I will not be able to say everything, but I will be able to give the key highlights in the 20 minutes which I have. So, Your Excellency the President, when you were sworn into office on 13th September 2022, the economy of Kenya was in bad shape because of a number of factors, mainly the disruption of the supply chains because of the war in Ukraine and Russia, the COVID-19 pandemic that has shut down our economy for more than a year, and other shocks, including the droughts that had ravaged our country. Because of these economic shocks, our economy was in bad shape. Kenya was one of the 6 countries in Africa that had been predicted to default in their sovereign debt, the others being Ethiopia, Chad, Ghana, Gambia, and Zambia. Out of the 6 countries, including Kenya, that had been predicted to default in their sovereign debt obligations, only Kenya survived. All the other 5 countries defaulted. Why? Because immediately you were sworn in office, you made very difficult, painful, and unpopular decisions that helped bring our economy back on track, including negotiating a G2G arrangement for the supply of crude oil, which was not available in 2022 September. People were queuing to buy petrol. And we saw the escalation of costs of petrol, which is a big contributor to inflation. It kept on increasing until it reached a high of 2018 shillings a litre. Over the last 3 years, Your Excellency, through your leadership and with the support of the broad-based administration, we've been able to bring down a number of macroeconomic indicators that were affecting our economic environment. Number 1, prices of essential commodities that had skyrocketed and therefore influencing the cost of living negatively have been stabilized over time, including unga from 250. Today, unga from 138 shillings going forward. You'll get your unga depending on the type of unga that you want to consume. but from 138 shillings, you'll get your unga. Your Excellency, fuel which had gone as high as 217, 218 shillings a litre has been going down continuously. Over time, losing over 40 shillings. Today we are at 178 a litre. Your Excellency, inflation, which was at 9.6% at that time, is now stable for more than a year. It has been somewhere between 3.5 and 4.5%, which is within the central bank preferred midpoint. The Central Bank of Kenya preferred midpoint for inflation is 5%, plus or minus 2.5%. We are below that CBK benchmark. Last month it was 4.3%. Again, congratulations, Your Excellency, because inflation, low inflation, and keeping inflation stable and low is one of the macroeconomic foundations on which our economy is going to be built going forward. Your Excellency, the exchange rate, the shilling was losing value every day. Over the last almost 1.5 years and more, we've been able to keep a stable exchange rate at 129 shillings, down from 165, 162, 165 shillings in 2022. Your Excellency, congratulations. The Kenya shilling now has been rated as one of the most stable currencies in the world. The top 6 stable currencies in the world, the Kenya shilling is in that list. Your Excellency, over the last 3 years, again, due to difficult and popular but important decisions, we have now grown our cash reserve ratio. Our foreign exchange reserves have increased. In 2022, when you were being sworn in, people were booking dollars. Business people wanted to do export-import trade. They needed to pay for goods from overseas. They had to book dollars for dollars, and you could not get, if you ask for 10,000, they tell you we'll only get you 3,000 today. Next week we'll get you another 2,000, because we didn't have enough foreign exchange reserves. We have moved over the last 3 years, Your Excellency, under your leadership, from a low 5.7 billion US dollars, which is import cover for 2.5 months, to a historic high. I know the booklet says that we are at 12.3, but we have increased. The data from Central Bank on Thursday, we have hit a historic high, 14.6 billion US dollars, equivalent to 1.9 trillion Kenya shillings in foreign exchange reserve. Import cover of 6.2 towards 7 months of import cover. Kimani Ishungwa is an accountant. He's telling me it's not 6.2, it's 7 months import cover. Meaning even if the economy of Kenya was shut down for 7 months, we will still conduct our affairs without disrupting international trade, our export and import trade. This is historic. We've never been there before. Your Excellency, sir, on the economy, the other indicators are also looking good. I've talked about the strength of the currency. I've talked about low inflation. I've talked about the cash reserve ratio. I also want to talk about national savings. For 62 years, we had only saved 320 billion through NSSF. Okay? I know in the booklet, national savings comes as the last point, but I decided to bring it forward because it's part of the economic fundamentals that influence our macroeconomic stability. For 60 years, we only had savings through NSSF of 320 billion. In the last 3 years, in fact, 2 years, because we changed the law, again, courtesy of Parliament, we started implementing the law that Parliament passed 2 years ago. We have saved an additional 370 billion in 2 years. Today, savings stand at 690 billion Kenya shillings, projected to hit the 1 trillion shilling mark by the end of next year. Again, historic, because we have more than doubled our national savings in 2 years compared to what we had saved for 62 years. Your Excellency, all these macroeconomic indicators point to a better Kenya, a stronger economy. No wonder all the ratings of the Kenyan economy by international credit rating agencies have been positive on Kenya, from Standard & Poor to Moody's. Kenya now has been upgraded to somewhere between B3, B-, a stable economy by sovereign credit rating companies which are global and therefore are not politically inclined. And therefore, this macroeconomic heavy lifting has taken us a bit of time, but we're in good place now. Going forward, the remaining part is easier because now we now move into the realm of microeconomics, that is putting money into the pockets of individual citizens, creating jobs and income opportunities, and also employment, jobs, household incomes, and that is where the other programs that we have rolled out are going to take us, as we are going to see. So that is how the economy has been stabilized over the last 3 years, and some of the interventions required parliamentary supports of the two houses of parliament, and we applaud Parliament in its entirety for that support. Number two, Your Excellency, is agriculture. We have undertaken a number of agricultural transformation steps in the last 3 years as the broad-based administration. Number one, we started with the registration of farmers. Before then, we didn't have a database on farmers. And now we have a database of farmers. We know what they farm, the acreage of land, the kind of fertilizer they need, and where they are. And we are now having 7.3 million farmers whom we know what they need in terms of farm inputs. That was a major milestone of the achievement of this administration quite early within the first year. Number two, we've worked on the farm inputs to bring down prices of farm inputs, mainly fertilizer, from a high of 7,000 shillings per 50 kilogram bag of fertilizer to now the current 2,500 shillings per bag. We've also subsidized certified seeds to make them more affordable, and the result of these interventions have been to improve productivity in agriculture. Maize, for example, the staple crop, we have seen an increase in our maize production from 44 million bags in 2022 to 75 million bags last year, 2025. We have also seen the increase in terms of income and returns on coffee from an average of 60 to 70 shillings a kilo. Today, a kilo of cherry, the farmers are getting somewhere between 120 and 160 shillings, more than double of what the prices were in 2022. Earnings from tea over the last years have improved from 154 billion in 2022 to last year 215 billion Kenya shillings, the highest returns from tea in the history of our country. We've also increased our production of sugar, because for a long time Kenya has been importing sugar. Your Excellency, you recall more than 20 years ago when you were Minister for Agriculture, you still used to lead Kenya's delegation to Zambia to negotiate for COMESA safeguard measures so that we can get sugar imported into Kenya. In the last 3 years, Your Excellency, through your leadership, we've been able to reduce the imports of sugar by over 70%. The production has risen from 472,000 metric tons in 2022 to 815,000 metric tons in 2025.